Hello there. Welcome to another episode in our HTML tutorial series. Today we're going to talk about text. We're going to talk about the ability to change the size, the color, and the font style in a text. This is necessary. If you want to be a web developer, you have to know how to do this. There's no way around it. This episode should only take about 10 or 15 minutes of your time, so stick around and let's get it. All right. The first thing you need to do in order to get started on this episode is to make sure that you've done episode 1. So episode 1 was the first tutorial in the HTML series where it just taught you how to write the words hello world on an HTML page. As a result of episode 1, you should have a file called hello world.html. This is required for this lesson. If you haven't watched episode 1, if you haven't worked on it, please go back and watch episode 1. I'll share a link to that video on the description and also on the comment section. So make sure you have episode 1 done. Talk to you soon. Okay, so for those of you who have already gone through episode 1, I'm assuming you already have a file called hello world.html, and you also have a code editor installed in your computer. In this case, it will be Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you know what? Just make sure that we are on the same baseline. I'm gonna go ahead and open this hello world HTML file just to show you exactly what we have. Okay, so this is exactly where we left off on episode 1. Okay, so let me open this on the browser so you can actually get a visual description of what the file looks like. So what we want to do today is we want to play around with text. So this text here, it's a heading text. It's an H1 heading. It's in black. It looks very ordinary, right? And if you go to other websites, you're gonna see different types of text with different images. I'm just gonna go to ibm.com just to illustrate. Yeah, essentially every website looks a little bit different, right? This one is about as simple as it gets because it's it displays black text. But if you go to other places, let's go to whatever. Let's try apple.com. Okay, look at that. The text is in white. So there's different colors and there's also different types of font sizes. Look at the size difference and also font families, okay? So this font, it's not the same as this font, okay? This one looks a little bit skinnier. This one is a little bit thicker, right? And it looks very different than this. So the goal for today is we're gonna go over a few attributes and properties that will allow you to manipulate the size, the color, and the type of font that appears on a text. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna strip out the style here. Okay, and I'm gonna change from hello world to heading 1 because this is a H1 header, okay? It is, okay. Now I'm gonna show you a couple of other options besides H1. Okay, here is H2, heading 2. Okay. See, it looks a little bit smaller. And you can go down the line. By default, HTML will assign different sizes based on the tag that you're using. This is H4, H3, and some of this experience will vary depending on what browser you're using. Oh, what the heck is that? Save it. All right, see, it gets progressively smaller. And then there is an infamous P tag. This is the paragraph tag. This is a paragraph. Okay. A lot smaller, right? Okay. So let's assign different colors. Now, there is so when we were in episode 1, I showed you the ability to add a style attribute, okay? And I could do different things, right? I could do position, I could do top, but you know what? I want to change the color. So I'm going to do color, colon. Oh, look at that, right? So let's do blue violet. Why not? All right, I'm going to save this. Okay, don't worry about this little square. This square is something that got assigned on the editor, but in reality, the value is blue violet. Ah, look at that, right? Now, this is nice, and then I could also assign a different color for heading 2. For instance, here, I'm going to assign color colon red, okay? Now, I could just go down the line and add a style tag to everything here, but you know what? You want to be a little bit more efficient. If you have a chance to write code with as little lines as possible, the better. So I'm going to show you something today. I'm going to remove well, let me leave this here for now. Inside the head tag, I'm actually going to add a section for style. Okay. This is a different way of assigning style properties and attributes. So here, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I have here for H1, but I'm going to do style. By the way, look, this is all indented. We already talked about this, right? Color. This time let's do aquamarine. Okay. So I just pretty much did the same thing that would be assigned here. See that? And I can do this down the line. H2, color, azure. And you know, for some of you guys that are actual web developers, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you're assigning color names. Okay, hang tight. We're gonna take care of this pretty soon, okay? Oh, you'll see what I mean shortly. Okay, let's go down the line. Almost did it. Let's do red. Okay, and then finally for P, let's do color green. Okay. All right, get this. Okay. Oh, let me remove this. Okay, you can barely tell, but H2 is azure. In fact, let's change this. Okay, well, before we change this, just a couple things to note. I sort of made it clear in the previous episode that you want to indent and format your code as cleanly as possible. Okay, and it didn't seem that important on the first episode because we only had about 8 or 10 lines of code, but as you can see, the number of lines is already increasing, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. Okay, so make sure everything's indented. Now, a couple of things before we move on. Look at the color. Okay, so I literally just added the name of a color, but really this is kind of weird. Well, not weird. This is not the only way to add a color property. You can actually assign what's called a hexadecimal value. On H2, I'm going to assign hexa, CC10000, okay, which is the same as red. Okay, this hexa value is exactly the same as the color red. Okay, let me just prove it to you. Now, what the heck is, okay, it's a little bit different. It's a different shading of red. Now, what the heck is this hexadecimal value? Okay, so let's go to Google so you can see. Hexadecimal color picker. Okay, color picker, HTML codes. Okay, for every single color in the spectrum, there is a specific hexadecimal number. And the reason why we choose hexadecimal numbers is because you can be very specific on the type, on the shading, the gradient of the color you want. So like blue, you know, blue could be any of these hexadecimals, okay? And you can tell this one is lighter than the other. So let me just pick this one right here. Just show you, okay? We had aquamarine, whatever this was, and I'm gonna change it to hexadecimal value 65ACEC. Okay, see the web page. You see how it's different. So a couple of things that I'm telling you right now, as far as assigning colors, you can assign the actual color name, but really nobody really does this because this is you know, these are like primary colors, I guess, but nobody does this. Developers like to be more specific on the type of color, and this will always be something that a graphic designer will request or will stress. Hey, you know, graphic designers won't come to you and say, hey, you know, can you put green? No, they'll give you they'll specify a very specific hexadecimal number. Okay. All right. I'm starting to spend a little bit too much on hexadecimal numbers and colors. Don't want to do that. But just lastly. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about font sizes. Okay. So let's talk about this P tag. Okay. You can actually assign a font size here, and it will be something that applies to every P tag. So here I'm going to go font, dash size. And for sizes, you can do, you can specify the actual size by name. You can set a percentage. You can do all of these. Okay. It's gonna take too much time for me to tell you what exact what all these values mean. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose a size property attribute that I use a lot, and which is rem. Okay, so I'm telling the P tag to display in font size 2 rem, which is 2 times the size. Look at this. Yeah, see, it's 2 times the size. And I can do 3 times the size. And I can actually go 3.7. Okay, this goes in decimals. Okay, and I can do even more. I can do 30. The world is your oyster. Humongous, right? Nobody does this, but yeah, just to give you an idea of what you can do. So here we go, font sizes. So okay, I'm gonna explain to you the reason why I'm adding all these properties inside the style tag instead of assigning it to this P tag. Look, I just made a rule that says that every text that is written inside a P tag has font size 2 rem and is of the color green, right? So once again, look, I can create another paragraph up here. This is my second paragraph. See, and it automatically assigns the same font size and the color to anything that is inside a p tag. So you see how this is saving, you know, it's just cleaner because I don't have to, if I were to do it this way, where I say p style equals font size, so on and so on, I would have to repeat the same command, quote unquote, the same command multiple times. So instead of typing the same thing or type the same command in multiple tags, I can just do it globally. Now the keyword here is globally. Globally set the rules in one place that applies to all, okay? Because I can have multiple p tags. I can have multiple headings, okay? I'm gonna add another heading in between here, okay? And look, I bet this text is gonna appear the same way as this text, which is of the color red. Check this out. Okay. So from now on forward, if you have to add a style property to a tag, I recommend you do it globally in this head section. Okay. All right. Okay, font styles or font families. This is in Arial. I want to change the font style. So in order to change the font style, you want to use the command font family, colon. And once again, this editor was nice enough to tell you what the options are. And, you know, I want to display, let's set it to Franklin Gothic Medium. Let's see what happens. See how it's different now? And you know what? Just to highlight the fact that I made the font difference, I'm gonna make it bigger. So it's bigger. Okay. Okay. Then, oh, forgot a semicolon. Let me change the font family. Cambria. Semicolon. Look at that. See? All right. Well, so I'm starting to run out of time, but yeah, we covered fonts. We covered font sizes. And we also covered the ability to change colors on a text, okay? And I also showed you how there's different types of tags that you can use to write a paragraph, or write text, I'm sorry. You can use H1, H2, H3, H4. You can use P as the paragraph. There's a couple more, but I think this will be good for now. Well, this is all I have for today. Until next time, take care.